Aquaponics, a fairly new concept in Mauritius. In this edition, we discover how aquaponics might revolutionize agriculture in Mauritius and eliminate chemicals in food production. African Leadership University produces leaders who are putting at use their expertise for Africa. We meet a few of them. In Business Connect today, we are at the ALU, the African Leadership University in Pamplemousse. A couple of months ago, we were here for a report on how their courses were different and how it included leadership courses and in turn, or how we call it, placements for students. But today, we will see if they walk the talk. We are meeting those people who have given internship opportunities to those students who are graduating today.
You are a cathedral builder, a catalyst for 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 change.
Please tell us, how long have you been an MD at the Kenyan, as the Kenyan Missioner for Sim Finance?
So I've been the MD for 2 years.
All right, the ALU branch of Mauritius is having its first graduation today. And you had quite a few interns who have worked at your place in Kenya. Can you please tell us more about your experience working with them?
Yeah, sure. So over the last 2 years, between our Kenya and Mauritius branches, we've employed over 15 ALU students as interns and had great experiences with all of them. If I look back at all the students we've employed, we'd be happy to bring on any of them as full-time students. I think they bring a lot to the team in terms of their critical thinking and their approach to problem solving. So we've had quite a big success employing them, whether it's in finance, whether it's in marketing or technology. I think we've always been confident that whatever ALU student that we recruit, we'd be able to place in any of our departments or openings and have them be very successful for the organization. Given your experience with those students who are graduating firsthand with you, did you find any difference in terms of the abilities compared to those who come from other universities? Yeah, so I would say, especially in our Kenya office, very much we're taking a startup and very lean approach to building the business up, and it takes a certain type of individual to work in that type of environment. Someone who's able to deal with challenges and an unsure environment in terms of where the business is heading and then being adaptable. So I'd say ALU students are very comfortable in those types of environments as opposed to a traditional graduate that you would find at any other university. Were you actually surprised that ALU students were different from other universities? So as a former staff member of ALU, I've had the experience to work with a lot of these students in the past. So I knew in terms of the academic rigor and some of the courses that they've been through. So I had very high expectations for them entering. And some of these students definitely blew away my expectations in terms of what they were able to deliver within 3 or 4 months working for me. And also, would you continue hiring interns from ALU so that they can carry out with their work placements? Yeah, we'd always go back to ALU to hire students. I have about 5 students currently working with me right now, so definitely looking forward to continuing to come back here and recruiting more students. Out of the many students that are graduating today, you mentioned that there are a couple of them who have done their intern at your office, whether it is in Kenya or in Mauritius. Would you employ any of them? I'd say, when we're looking at hiring students, it's a combination of having the right fit in terms of a job opening that we have and, their interest as well in terms of professional development. But, definitely would be open to hiring any of the 5 graduating today that worked with me in the past and, more depending on, if there's a good fit for the organization at this time. So. Yeah, no, congratulations to all the ALU students graduating today, and hopefully other employers, will be open to hiring them as well.
catalyst for Winkalava, Echo Afuma, Wanawandi.
Mr. Kola, please tell us, what does Bridge Labs do and where is it based?
So at Bridge Labs, we build technology for forward-thinking organizations across the continent. So we've been doing this for close to 3 years now. Forward-thinking towards means organizations that understand the role technology is playing with the fourth industrial revolution, and they're willing to allow other top companies build technology for them.
How long have you been in business and how has been the growth so far?
So right now it's a team of 25 and we're based in Johannesburg.
Given that you worked with the ALU students firsthand, how was your experience?
So we provided internships to some of the students, and we've been very impressed with the quality of services that they have rendered to us.
Over the 3 years that you've been in operation, so how many years have you employed ALU students from Mauritius, and how many have you employed?
4 of them. So they were with us for 3 months and they worked on multiple projects, one of them being a digital transformation for one of our biggest clients. One of the ALU students was in charge of communication, making sure the project was going as planned. Another one was allowing the student to follow the entrepreneurial journey while under the Bridge Labs umbrella and provide some form of guidance. We provide opportunities to students, mostly in South Africa.
Did you feel there was a difference amongst the students from ALU Mauritius compared to other universities, let's say from South Africa?
I mean, it is very clear that the ALU student has more, has more exposure and can carry themselves, properly in professional environments, and they always bring their best to the table. They're willing to work harder than the average, intern, and the quality of work they produce was stunning. Right. I mean, that's why we're here today, to try and give offers to some of the top performers that would be willing to come to South Africa.
Would you keep providing placement opportunities to ALU students from Mauritius?
They're very, very professional. They're very hardworking and they are very humble. Right. They're willing to work harder than the average intern, and the quality of delivery was stunning. Right. So for me, I was really impressed that I didn't have to micromanage as expected, and they just took ownership of their learning journey. And that's why some of us are here today to take this to the next level, which is giving full-time offers to the top performing students. Very happy with the quality I've gotten so far, and we would continue to offer them opportunities.
There is the first batch of students graduating today. Any of them that you would like to employ or give a job opportunity going forward?
Yes. So we've been speaking to the same ones that have done an internship with us. Some of them are engineering students. Just so you're aware, the engineering students are not graduating now, they're graduating in February. Right. So most of our offers will be going to the engineering students because we're a tech company.
Catalyst for Winkalava, Echo Afuma, Wanawandi. You are a cathedral builder, a catalyst for
Vedasanasi, you're the Dean of ALU Rwanda, and you have been part of the team that started it all in Mauritius. To start, tell us a little bit more about your career so far.
Sure. Actually, I've spent almost 10 years with the African Leadership Group. I have been working with Fred Swanica for a very long time now. I was part of the team at the African Leadership Academy in Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was teaching leadership and entrepreneurship. And then when Fred told me, I've got this great idea to set up a chain of universities across the continent, and the first one is going to be in your home country, Mauritius, it was a no-brainer. I had to make the jump, and I joined him and the rest of the team. We moved to Mauritius in 2015. I was the founding director of Student Life at the time, and about 2 years ago, I moved to Rwanda to set up the African Leadership University in Rwanda.
How do you feel that the courses taught at ALU is different from other universities? Do you see the difference in students?
Yeah, I think most education institutions focus very strongly on helping people to acquire a knowledge base, right? And to prepare you with some skills for the real world. What we're trying to do differently at ALU is to complement that traditional model, right? So Obviously, we want our students to acquire skills that prepare them for the 21st century. We want them to be savvy, we want them to be knowledgeable, but more importantly, we want them to become better human beings, right? And how do you do that is by focusing on the development of the self, and that's what ultimately for me leadership is. So for our leadership program, which starts from the very first year all the way till their graduation, there is a huge emphasis on developing what we often call the soft skills, right? So everything from emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness, starts with empathy, learning how to be able to be compassionate, to understand real problems, but dig deeper and get to the root cause and practice root cause analysis of existing problems in society, and then address those problems. And I think, you know, as you practice that soft skill over the course of 4 years, you can see the marked difference between an individual with a heightened sense of emotional intelligence and an individual who only has a certain level of skills to be able to function in a very utilitarian way in the workplace, right? Versus our students, I believe, carry a lot more of that humanity, of that, you know, emotional intelligence as well, that I think makes them very unique.
Vida, being the Dean of ALU Rwanda and being part of the academic team, how do you gauge the effectiveness of what you're teaching to the students?
I think, first of all, in our 10-year of existence, right, I include what we started at the African Leadership Academy, we have been truly building the expertise in the field of leadership development. And if you just look at, you know, some of the accolades that we have received recently, for instance, you know, being mentioned as the most innovative company in Africa by Fast Company, you know, a very well reputable business magazine globally, right? So obviously you don't get accolades like this if, you know, you don't have some modicum of you know, success, right? That speaks to what you're trying to do. But I think the real measure of the efficacy of our program is, you know, the students themselves, this talent that we're putting out there in the world. And I think, you know, we heard our founder speak about the kind of feedback we have received from our employers. And, you know, I have, you know, the privilege and opportunity to talk to a number of, you know, employer partners who have been in the African leadership groups, you know, world over the last 10 years. And you know, I was recently having a meal with the CEO of Dalberg, which is, you know, one of the largest consulting firms in Africa. And they're scrambling to hire, you know, graduates from ALU and from ALA. And the reason I was thinking, what is it about our graduates that, you know, you guys appreciate that much? And it's exactly what I was saying earlier in the definition of leadership, our students' ability to be able, you know, to be critical thinkers, to be problem solvers, to be able to you know, leverage skills that put human beings at the core of whatever problem solving they're trying to do, right? So, you know, when you look at that kind of feedback that we're getting from employers who are keen on, you know, hiring and rehiring and providing internships to our students, I think it is a great testament to the fact that our students are quite different, right, compared to, you know, their counterparts coming from other educational institutions where, you know, there's not such a huge emphasis on building these softer skills.
Prevention is better than cure. This statement can be supported by the science of growing plant in a medium rather than the soil, a sector which is attracting more and more entrepreneurs. Today in Business Connect, we will be meeting with such an entrepreneur. Welcome to this new edition of Business Connect. Hans, tell us about this medium called Aquaponics.
Well, aquaponics is the merging of aquaculture and hydroponics. As everyone in Mauritius knows, so it's a common practice to in Mauritius here, hydroponics. But here, what I'm doing is aquaponics. Aquaculture is actually the farming of fish. So we feed the fish, we farm them in a closed loop system. And as you know, hydroponics is the cultivation of plants in a very specific conditions. So we are merging both, just to, as you can see here. aquaponics, it concerns about feeding the fish. So you feed the fish produce waste in the water, and you filter the water, and of course finally it ends up in the grow bed. In this where we flow the water inside, and as you can see, it's growing very well. And this, you can see how green and fresh this lettuce are.
What do we need to start this system? Do we need huge investment?
Compared to hydroponic, it do cost a lot. But well, we will not put a figure on that, but actually the focus is more about having the end product. So it's much more beneficial. But here, well, in terms of figures, of course, if we have to compare it with different types of farming, so definitely this costs a bit much more than hydroponics.
What are the benefits of it?
As you can see here, there's nothing is added. Definitely no chemicals, no fertilizer, and the most important one, no pesticide. Which our focus here is more about producing a healthy vegetable. So that's the main objective. And if you can produce fresh vegetables compared to other techniques, so that's how aquaponics is being very popular around the world. So well, here in Mauritius, we have a certain groups of people currently doing it. So that's it. The benefits just in front of your eyes. You can see nothing is being added, not even a single trace of fertilizer, which is commonly used in our soil and in hydroponic system. But here we don't add anything.
Do we need a specific type of weather conditioning to sustain it?
Well, if you have to compare with the commonly practiced hydroponics, it's almost the same thing. It's just that here our focus is more about boosting the immune system of the plant. So if you boost the immune system, of course the plant will be more resistant to certain pests and diseases, which is, as you can see here, nothing is been added to protect the plant, and still the plant is coming out very fresh, and nothing. You can see the leaves is very green, and it's growing very well. This is one of the several, I would say, benefits of aquaponics. And at the end, so you're getting a very fresh vegetables out.
And do we have the market for this in Mauritius?
Actually, this is a very new concept in Mauritius. So I think the focus is more about to bring an awareness, because this is very new, and Mauritians don't really know how we can produce such kind of vegetable which is pesticide free and certainly fertilizers free as well. And actually we need to first focus on the awareness side. Of course, market will follow after that, because once people know how fresh and healthy vegetables we can have out of the system, in my opinion, I think everyone will be opting for this kind of vegetables.
And you, as an entrepreneur, how do you see the future of this sector?
Well, it's very promising. I would say it's very promising, because abroad it's very popular, and the second word for that is the future of our food. This is pesticide free, so that's exactly what we need in order to avoid cancer.
And if someone wants to do this, he can contact you for this?
Yes, of course. That's a bit my objective, actually. I'm participating in corporate awareness as well to do that.
This is it for now. This brings us to the end of this episode. In the meantime, keep watching MBC channel. Follow us on our Facebook page and website as well. Until next time, this is goodbye from the whole team.